Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to the Fernleaf Islands, where in the last episode, Misana left behind a little trio of big-nosed babies who are definitely going to be a huge help for us as we're preparing to leave for the jungle biome. I'm thinking that we probably want to try to keep as many of the big noses on our creatures as possible, because it does heighten their senses. It makes it so they can sniff a little bit deeper into the grass than someone with the normal nose could. The normal nose only gives them a +2 in smelling, which I believe is the same for the spit snout. Yeah, just a +2 in smelling, so it might be really beneficial for us to bring these big-nosed creatures so that we could hopefully maybe sneak a peek at those apes in the grass before they even notice us. That way we would know exactly where they are, because it seems like we really need to breed our creatures for stealth rather than strength if we're going to go into the jungle. We're going to have to adapt because we're not going to be the biggest predators on the island anymore. So most likely the big nose would be a very good trait to bring, along of course with the stinky tail, which I think we're doing a pretty good job of already. Most of our creatures actually have the stinky tail in their genetics. It's just inactive right now, so it should actually be pretty easy for us to pull that out again later as soon as we start breeding these creatures a little bit more. But we have the stinky tail, and we also have those warning dots that we're going to want to mutate on our creatures, as well as possibly the velvet paw. That would make it so they're a little bit quieter while they're sneaking around on the grass, so we should be able to sneak again around all of those apes that are going to be spawning in the jungle. Right now, though, we do have a little bit of a food situation. We have a bunny over here that somebody needs to catch, and we also have a mole over here that somebody could pounce on too. Mystic might actually be able to sneak around it, but I think it would probably be a better idea if maybe Dusk jumped up here and grabbed it instead. Unfortunately, that does mean that the bunny is gone now. It looks like it has completely skittered way off into the darkness, so we can't even see it with our big-nosed creatures. But that's okay, at least we managed to get a little bit of meat, so Dusk can pick that up for us. And then I think we probably want to have, of course, Rain pick up her acorns. Even though she is so tiny, she's able to pick up these giant acorns, which are practically as big as she is. She has grown up a little bit since the last time. She has her second gem now, so she should be safe from any major predators. So we could actually move her away from the nest if we wanted to, but I think at this point she's going to be the dedicated acorn collector for this tree at the very least. And as for her brothers, I was hoping that maybe we could spread them out a little bit more. The two brothers would definitely be helpful for these wandering creatures out here. We have, of course, our exploring twins who are trying to make their way up to this tree before they pass. They are getting very, very old. This is actually Neuro's very last day too, so I'm not sure if he's going to be able to make it over to this tree in time. We did discover that there are some fish in here though. They're actually still there. There's a tiny, tiny little fish in this water. So it seems like we could also bring our creatures over here with the claws and whatnot to maybe snag up a couple of fish for us too. Basically, I want to make sure that we have enough food in our supplies before we go to the jungle as well, because I'm not entirely sure what our food situation is going to look like once we get there. I know there are a lot of different plants and whatnot, but some of them are very, very dangerous, so we're going to have to keep an eye out. And in fact, I do want to make sure that Anime can have a couple more babies, because she does have the nimble fingers along with Ronukir, so they're kind of making a little gathering line right now, which should definitely help us increase our food supplies. So I think if we bring Anime right over here, she could possibly breed with Ronukir and then jump right back in the nest, and then she can have another baby. She is sick because she does have those double immunity genes, so she is never going to get over her common cold. That means that her life is literally cut in half, so while it says she has 6 days left, she actually only has 3. Unfortunately, we have just had some rotten luck when it comes to wanderers on this island. Every single wanderer that we've come across so far has had the same immunity genes as Adam and Eve, which has made it very, very hard for us to pair up these creatures properly. Right now, I don't think we actually have a single perfect match on the island. Everyone basically shares at least one immunity gene, so we're going to have to just cross our fingers and hope that some crazy sickness does not completely sweep over our next generation. But Ronukir and his family are still on the hunt for berry paradise. They're looking for the place with the most berry bushes on this entire island. So we could have him pick up these berries right now and maybe a little bit of this grass too, and then he can start scooting off into the grass on this side to see if there's any more berries to possibly collect. Vancouver was going to help them, and I think I actually want a Mystic to come over here too, just so that he could maybe sniff around in the grass a little bit more. So far it doesn't seem like there's anything in there. Maybe if we have Vancouver move right here, then we could actually have Mystic go a little bit deeper, and it seems like there's only roots over here actually, so this is probably not the berry paradise that they're looking for. We did find a couple of pretty good berry bushes, but I think they're going to want a place with much more food for them to actually collect. Now, are there any shells over on this side, I wonder? Let's see, I don't see any shells over on this side of the shore, so we probably want to move Maple a little bit further away from that side. He could actually position himself at this berry bush to pick it instead of his father. He is a lot slower than his father is because he has those webbed hind feet, so we basically want to station him like maybe between two berry bushes if we can find like that perfect location. Then he wouldn't have to worry about stumbling his way around the territory. Let's actually have Vancouver move just a little bit deeper to smell in the grass some more though, just to make sure that nothing in particular is out here. Yeah, like I really doubt that there's going to be a measly little berry bush on these final two squares, so instead we'll send them off maybe toward the north. I mean, we could send them in this direction. We are going to have these guys try to clear out this tree anyway, so let's see what's up there. We do know that there's one tiny little berry bush right here after all. It doesn't seem like they can smell anything else in this immediate area, but they do just have the normal noses, so who knows. But for now, let's see if Neuro can actually make his way over here before, oh my gosh, before he passes away. They did find a nest out here. I mean, that's pretty good. We probably should at least peek at this nest so that we know it's in the area, because if somebody needs to really make it to a nest before they pass as well, then that would be a very good thing to know about. Really? We have an acorn in the water? Okay. Well, I mean, I guess that's not too bad, because if we have somebody set up right next to the water, then they should be able to reach in and grab it, but that is going to be a very, very soggy meal. Though at the very least, they did make it underneath the tree, so Neuro, you have completed your task, though you are going to be leaving your sister all alone out here, which I'm a little bit worried about. She does have the short-sighted eyes too, so it's going to be a little bit hard for her to get around, and that's why I think we probably want Mystic to hightail it up there to help her on the next turn. Though I did want to rename this baby too, and I think I'm actually going to name him Spruce. You guys suggested Spruce as a name, which goes along with his brother pretty well, Maple. So we have Spruce and we have Maple on this side of the family so far. And then you guys way back here, we can't forget about you either. They were trying to clear out this tree. They can actually pick up a couple of the acorns because Nuduknu is able to with not only his nimble fingers, but also his cracker jaw. He's also getting kind of old though. A lot of these creatures are going to be passing away, which I hope means that we're going to be seeing some more Wanderers spawn pretty soon. Wanderers with the new immunity genes, please, because that is exactly what we need right now. Let's see, I guess the more we spread these guys out, the more likely it'll be that we'll eventually run into somebody. So we might as well just clear out as much of this as possible, and then I believe we can go ahead and skip the turn, and there's the bunny again! Oh, you came back to steal my berries, did you? Okay, so we'll have to figure out who can possibly snatch up this bunny before it eats all of our food. But for now, let's zoom in on this newest little baby and see what this one is going to look like. It's another little sun, oh my goodness, another little spit snout sun in fact. Let's actually name this one Oak. We'll go ahead and name this one Oak to, of course, go along with all of his other brothers. So they're all named after trees at the moment, which is particularly fitting with all of those nimble fingers. Though unfortunately, Oak does not actually have them. He only has the no paw and the running leg, and he has some pretty poor eyesight too, so it's not like he would even be a very good scout. He does have the ram horns though, and that's very good to see. I was hoping that we could possibly start breeding the either the ram horns or the antlers on our creatures a little bit more, especially the ram horns. I do love Mystic's big crown of ram horns after all. But let's see if we can make him all the way up to where poor Anair currently is. Though this is her very last turn too, so honestly, maybe it wouldn't even be worth it to rush him up there, because he's not going to be able to make it up there in one day anyway. She can just spend her final day kind of clearing out this area right around where her brother passed. I'm sure at the very least, they're happy that they were able to pass together doing what they enjoyed the most, which of course was exploring all of this wilderness. But let's go ahead and shuffle the babies around again. We could actually move little Spruce over this way, I suppose, so that he could go ahead and pick up this shell on his next turn, as long as we keep a good eye on him, because of course we don't want him getting picked off. And then Maple can kind of stumble over the nest to get over to this berry bush in particular, though he won't be able to pick from it just yet. I don't like leaving this baby all on his own, but if we could actually actually have Mystic start making his way this way, then he will at least be protected by Mystic. So then we could bring Anime right over to the nest and have her breed with Ronukir, and he can spend the rest of his turns grabbing the berries. And oh my gosh, that reminds me, we had a bunny over here. Where on earth did it go? It actually didn't pick all of our berries, but it seems to have disappeared. Okay, this is a very, very shifty little bunny. I'm not sure what it's planning. Oh, it's probably going off to tell all of its little bunny friends where all of the berries are. I guess we could bring Dusk around this way if we wanted to, or maybe actually Rain should be the one. If we move her over here instead, then she can keep a very close eye on all of these berries right by her tree. Unfortunately, I don't see the bunny over here either, so it has definitely hopped away, which is very, very strange. I would have thought that the bunny would rather pick all of the berries while we weren't paying attention. But I do want Dusk to make his way over to this pack in particular. I want him to help them try to clear out the area because he does have that big nose. So he should be able to make it so we can at least see all of the different berry bushes out here, so we know where all of the food sources are, and hopefully so we can clear out this area a little bit faster too. And then Nuduknu should be able to come back down here to pick up a couple more of these acorns for us. In fact, he could knock down some more. There we go. I had a feeling that was probably full because we haven't knocked that down in quite a while. And then let's sniff around. Let's see, we have a couple of berry bushes in here, so that's good. We could definitely grab those. And there's our moles again. We have a mole way back here. Is that underwater? Okay, no, I thought that mole was underwater for a moment. That's a very, very strange location for you, little mole. But we do have a mole back there. We have a mole way back here, too. Tons and tons of moles on this island. I mean, if nothing else, we know that we can definitely survive on the moles at the very least. But we could have Messy go ahead and clear out a little bit more of this area for us. This would probably be a pretty good spot to drop down a nest too. We could make a little nursery over here as long as we have some breeding creatures. But we just have Mystic now, so I want him to actually come over here to light up a little bit more of this area. And then we could have Ronukir go ahead and pick up some of the grass. And we do have you too. Let's see. We want you, of course, to help them try to find their berry heaven. So why don't you scoot around the shore this way? And then we could actually have him start following Mystic. Let's go ahead and have Rain scoop up her berries again. And oh my goodness, there's the bunny, way back here. Really, Dusk? Either it's a completely new bunny from a completely new burrow, or this one is very, very wiry. Unfortunately, Dusk is out of energy though, so let's go over here and see what the next little baby is going to look like. This is probably going to be one of their last, and oh my goodness, it's a daughter. Their very first daughter. She has the stinky tail too. She has double nimble fingers. She has the hind legs, which is very good to see. Oh my goodness. She is actually very, very important for the pack right now, especially because she has immunities B and A. Most of our creatures, almost all of them, ended up having F in their genes, so she might actually be compatible with a lot of the males in the pack right now. Not only that, but she also has the big nose, so she's going to have those heightened senses too, and I think we'll name her Willow, just to keep in line with that tree theme that all of her brothers have. So little Willow, oh my goodness, we are definitely going to have to find you a particularly good spot to settle down, but first and foremost, Dusk, if you could jump in here and grab this bunny for us. There we go. So unfortunately that ends his turn because he doesn't have any more energy to stumble along the shore, but we could possibly have maybe Messy come down here and try to meet him halfway, because I'm thinking that maybe they would be a good pair to breed too. I mean, unfortunately they do both have, again, that immunity F, but they also both have the claws, and we won't have to worry about any no paws in this pairing. So at the very least, we could end up with those high strength creatures, just in case any carnivores come sneaking out of the grass. Now Mystic, on the other hand, I think should probably start taking the lead off into the wilderness. We do have a little mole down here, but I think it's probably a little bit more important that we clear out the area and try to find a suitable place for these guys to settle down before they get too old. So we'll have Mystic start making his way up there. We could have Oak kind of connect the darkness so that his family could also move up there too. Spruce should probably pick up the shell before he goes. There we go, and then we'll scoot him right next to his brother. He can see a little bit better than his brother can, so he should be able to light up the area a little bit more. Now we'll have maybe Vancouver follow Mystic up this way because he does have the claw. so they should be able to protect all of these creatures that they're leading. Though I feel like little Maple might actually stay behind because of course he's so slow. I'm not sure that he's going to be able to even keep up with them, so he might just stay here and pick the berries, and for that matter, he could keep little Rain company too, because she's probably going to be staying back here for a little bit longer as well. This was her preferred tree after all. This was where her mother passed away, so it holds a lot of sentimental value for her, and I think we probably want her to peek at this bunny burrow at the very least, because if we move her back over here, then the bunny burrow is going to be hidden. She can go ahead and pick the berries though, just so that no little bunnies come scooting out of the darkness to steal them instead. And on the next turn, as long as this nest is still here, we'll go ahead and have her pick it up for the extra material, because we do still have a couple of those permanent nests in the area anyway, and I don't think our creatures are going to use them right now, though we might want to have Anime maybe have just one more baby if possible. If she can go ahead and repair this nest, then she might be able to have her baby before she passes. Let's have her move over here, and then Ronukir can follow her, breed with her, and then she can sit in the nest and actually repair it. So she was able to just barely repair the nest in time for what is definitely going to be her final baby. The last one was very, very lucky though, so cross your fingers that this one will be the same. She is going to be so helpful for the pack. I mean, she has the normal body too, so she's going to be pretty fast compared to her brothers. She should be able to scoot around a little bit better than particularly Maple can right now, and also Oak with his webbed hind feet. So I think she probably will follow the rest of her family up toward the north. And maybe she could actually breed with Mystic. Maybe that would be a good idea, because their immunity genes are completely different, so they would be able to give us those healthy babies. But we are going to have to wait for her to grow up first, because unfortunately she's too young to move out of the nest. So let's have Ronukir kind of clear out a little bit more of a path for her, and then I believe that might actually be it. We just have Mystic back here. So let's have him scoot up this way, and just sniff around a little bit for us. We have all of those moles, of course, it's always the moles. We have some shells down here that somebody could possibly collect. But otherwise, I don't see anything dangerous out here. I don't really see anything that we need to take note of. So let's go ahead and skip the day and see what this very final baby is going to look like. As unfortunately, I believe, there we go, her mother passes away. Oh my goodness, and she's right in between her two brothers too. How adorable is that? So Miko, let's see, she has the nimble fingers and the runner's leg, which is very, very good. She has the normal eyes, so she should be able to help her siblings really scout around in the grass. But unfortunately, she does have the webbed hind leg, so she's going to be pretty slow. I guess that was the one drawback for this pairing, but they still gave us some pretty darn good babies. We'll go ahead and name her Elm, I suppose, to of course go along with all of her siblings. And let's start having Willow move out of the nest so that she can possibly grow her second gem a little bit faster. We can have Maple go ahead and pick up this little shell down here, and then scoot up this way to pick from the berry bush instead. And then he's probably going to be saying goodbye to the rest of his family as they make their way up toward the grass. So let's have Ronukir go around him and help lead all of his little children up toward the north. He still has quite a few days left on him, so hopefully that means that they'll be able to find a good place for him to settle down and really pick his berries. Let's have Spruce follow him up toward the grass. Actually, he can move really, really far, can't he? Whoa! He could actually go ahead of Mystic. Oh my gosh, and we have a bunny over here too. Okay, so how are we going to get this guy? I feel like he's probably going to run away if we jump here. Oh yes, definitely, but we can now pin him down if we have a Mystic move over here instead and slice him up. There we go. So we managed to hunt down yet another one of those bunnies, and we have a berry bush over here too, so there we go. We can definitely have Ronukir come down here and pick from all of these berry bushes as they make their way up toward the other trees. Now Oak, you can actually move pretty far too. I'm kind of surprised. I guess it's because of that runner leg, so it kind of negates the effect of the webbed hind legs a little bit. So he should actually be able to get around a little bit easier than his brother. For that matter, he doesn't have the big body either, does he? Yeah, he just has the normal body, so he's actually okay. He's actually pretty good at moving around on land. Rain, on the other hand, is all grown up. Oh my goodness. She could actually take on her very final gem. Let's have her come around this way, though, to gather up her nest, her childhood nest. I'm sure that's a little bit sad for her getting rid of the nest that she was born in, but we do want to gather up that nesting material so that we might be able to make some new nests out in the wilderness. We'll have Rain go ahead and gather up some of the acorns too, and now we just have Vancouver back here, kind of like guarding them from behind with his big claw. We could have him scoot up this way though to possibly gather up some more food. He might just be a little bit too short to grab that meat. So instead, I mean, we could have him start branching off to the right because we did also want to explore this tree over here, but it seems like a Mystic is making his way toward where the twins were instead. So we'll have him start going off to the right just to see if there's anything better off in this direction. He shouldn't have too much trouble defending himself if anything goes horribly wrong, but maybe one of the little sons over here, maybe one of the brothers would prefer to go along with him instead just to try to clear out this area a little bit more. Dusk, on the other hand, it is taking you a very, very long time to get over to this other pack, so maybe we should just have him like skip all of this food over here. It does seem like we probably have a bunny over here though. There it is. Yeah, this berry bush is completely picked clean, so this bunny was definitely quite busy, but we could move him all the way over here, and then we're still just a little bit too short to breed with Messi. She only has 4 days left of her life, so if we want them to have some babies, we might actually want her to make her way over here as this bunny is just teasing poor Dusk, and then we'll have her sit right next to him, so at the very least they can have one baby together on the next turn. That leaves poor Taku all on his own though, so he's going to have to come around this way to gather up all of these acorns that his brother has left behind, and then I believe we can actually skip the day. So since nobody's giving birth on this turn, we'll just zoom out and make sure that we don't have any carnivore situations. Like, we still have not had a single carnivore spawn in this entire world, which is very, very surprising. We do have a lot of bunnies though. We have a lot of bunnies and we have a lot of rain, which is probably a pretty good omen for them considering that so many of them are making their big migrations right now off to different trees. I think we're in another situation where nobody is going to be able to get this bunny though, because unfortunately rain is on the other side of this tree, so it's kind of blocking her from pinning the bunny down. And Maple, of course, is far, far too slow to actually pin the bunny for us. So instead, I guess we're going to have Rain scoop up as many of the berries as she possibly can. Thankfully, that picked the berry bush clean, and the bunny scooted off into the darkness anyway, so it must have noticed Rain lurking right behind that berry bush. Maple should be able to pick his berries too, though, and it looks like Willow has actually grown a little bit, so she could probably actually catch up to her family, almost. She can almost catch up to her family, and in fact, if we move Elm just a little bit closer, then she could get closer as well. There we go. So she can like wave to her father as she's trailing behind them. And then yeah, I think Vancouver might actually take some of these sons and lead them off toward the other tree just to see what else is in the area. And I think Oak might be the one with this big crown of ram horns. He probably seems a little bit stronger and he can move around pretty well, so I think he would be a particularly brave little critter, which is exactly what Vancouver is looking for. Let's have them start playing leapfrog right away. We could have Oak jump into the grass over here, and then Vancouver could jump right behind him, and there we go, we already found our first berry bush, with a bunny too. Okay, there's a little bunny back there. We could actually swipe up this berry bush so the bunny can't get to it, and then we can collect all of those berries that were on the bush itself. Now Oak could actually scoot back here, and then we could have Vancouver maybe pin the bunny. No, it's just a little bit too far away, but we might still be able to startle it. Okay, so there's where that burrow is. We found another burrow back here, which is probably why there's so many bunnies in the area. But unfortunately, nobody's going to be able to get that on this turn because they're all out of energy. Mystic, on the other hand, can pick up this meat that he found in the last turn, and then we can have him start making his way toward the tree again. We'll have him scoot off this way. We'll have Spruce follow him instead, since he's going to be helping him clear out this area, kind of like a little apprentice, so both of the brothers have found a mentor in their older packmates. Now Messi, this is just about your final chance to start a family. Now I think it's pretty likely that they're going to end up with the stinky tail, because of course Dusk has 2 of those genes in his genetics, and she does have it in her inactive traits, so most likely we're going to be seeing another little family of squirrels set up underneath this tree, and we again won't have to worry about any of those no-paws with this pairing. So I feel like this one is probably a pretty safe bet aside from those immunity genes, but at this point we're just going to have to work with what we have. We could have him breed with her, and then she could actually plop a nest down right here if we wanted to. We could have her move over here though, just so that she can still pick up a couple of these berries, as the bunnies are eyeing us up again. Hello little bunny! He's gazing sadly across the pond as we scoop up all of his food, but we're definitely going to need it if we're going to have all of these little babies running around the pack. And for that matter, Dusk can go ahead and pick up the shell, and then let's see what we want to place in here for their mutation menu. The normal eyes would probably be a good idea so that we can hopefully breed out this short-sighted gene, because a lot of our creatures are ending up with the short-sighted eyes instead. So we'll keep the normal eyes in there, but then why don't we place like the warning dots back in here again, just on the off chance that we manage to mutate that finally on one of our creatures. We had it in the mutation menu for quite a while at the beginning, but it just just never seemed to stick. Ah, and you, little bunny, you have returned. So Taku, you could actually jump over here and grab the bunny for us. There we go. Oh, look at that. It was munching away at this berry bush. So maybe it wasn't so sad. It wasn't gazing sadly at our berry bush because it had its own berries to munch on instead. Okay, so it looks like we probably are done with this turn now. We just have Maple over here, but he's so very slow that I would like to just leave him right by this berry bush. We still have this mole kind of gazing at all of our critters too. It's just kind of the pet mole now, I guess. We haven't had anyone jump in there to grab it in a while. But let's go ahead and see what this very last baby of the episode is going to look like. Hopefully it'll have that big stinky tail. Let's see. Oh my gosh, no stinky tail, but look at that. She has the purple eyes. And yeah, unfortunately she does have both immunity gene Fs. So that means that she's going to be sick for her entire life, but at this point we're just working with what we have. She does have the big body though, and I'm kind of surprised that she didn't inherit the claw from either of her parents. She did get her father's nimble fingers, but she also received her mother's running leg, so she's going to be a very, very fast little critter as she's scooping up all of the berries before the bunnies. I think we'll go ahead and name their first daughter Aurora right before we end out this episode. So I guess in the next episode what we'll do is we'll continue pushing these guys out a little bit more. We'll see if we can possibly colonize this little tree in particular with all of the children that Willow and Mystic will be having. I'm really excited to see what their babies are going to look like, especially because they're going to be so much healthier than many of the other babies on the island right now. Honestly, the Wanderer situation is the one thing that's concerning me because we still haven't found another single Wanderer in this grass. And if we can't keep our gene pools diverse, then all of our little critters are going to end up very, very sick. But we'll just have to cross our fingers that maybe Animeme is kind to us in the next episode and spawns some much needed wanderer off in the grass. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!